The argument was, if we inject money into an economy that cannot grow currently because there's too much stuff shut down, that it will cause inflation. Here's the deal. Most economists agree that it did. The degree to which it did, that's still in question. But our economy is doing better than most of the rest of the world. So yeah, we paid that price to prevent people from hurting at the time. We're paying it now.
Yeah, we're hurting now.
Well, I would say we're doing better than most of the industrialized world. So we kind of
Yeah, but we're not in competition with the rest of the world.
Hello.
Yep.
What's up,
How are you?
Christopher? Sorry, your audio's not that great. What are you debating? 9/11,
Debate anything
perhaps?
you want. What's your topic you want to talk about?
Well, I'm a first-time voter. I'm black,
9/11.
living in America, and I don't know how I'm going to vote this season, so maybe you could persuade me to vote one way or the other in this race.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
25. First-time voter.
Uh-huh.
What's important to you?
Oh, well, you know, fascism not being on the rise in America, climate policies, protection of gay rights and trans rights and reproductive rights.
Instead of meandering through all of those, why don't you pick your most important?
Okay, gay rights.
Gay rights. What's your issue with gay rights? Are you for gay rights or not?
Yeah, I'm for gay rights. I'm just
Cool.
wondering, is this race going to be one that reflects my interest in those preservations of rights, or won't it?
Well, both of them are very ambiguous with their gay rights policies. Biden, as he came up through the ranks, didn't know what the hell he wanted. He did get Obama. I can't believe that he got him to do it, but he got him to switch to gay rights. As for Trump, Trump is a bloviating, weird narcissist. I mean, he'll tell you something today. I don't know what in the hell he'll do tomorrow.
You don't support him?
Who, Trump?
Yeah.
Absolutely, I support him. I just think he's a narcissist.
Okay, go ahead.
pig.
Okay, a bloviating narcissist at that.
Yeah.
I'm just asking based on these core things that I hold true and how I'm going to be voting. I don't know that that's
Neither
the
one-
best endorsement.
Well, neither one of them are going to give you I can't give you an endorsement for either.
Well, I
because
mean, there was the
Biden
respect for marriage
flip-flops
act on Biden.
Well-
What's Donald Trump proposing?
What is Donald Trump proposing?
Yeah, I mean, is he going to protect gay rights in America or won't he?
I absolutely believe he will, but he's not the one that gets to choose to do that. That'll come through Congress through the legislative branch.
Right, the people he endorses who are ardently anti-gay, right?
Well, I think that you're going to have a lot of Republicans that are going to come out and try and get votes, so they'll tell you that they're for gay rights and then probably do something different, just like liberals, Democrats, conservatives, or Republicans do. That's being a politician.
I don't know that they're doing anything different. In the past 2 years, what I've seen is like 500 some bills that attack the gay community and trans community. And I don't know that I feel safe in an America with Donald Trump and the people he endorses, especially his
vote for
Supreme
Biden.
Court. Okay, well, all right. I'll just vote for Biden, I guess.
I mean, so that's one thing, gay rights. Now you want to go into anything that
Yeah, sure. Reproductive
about economy
rights.
or
you know,
something like
Well,
that.
so how about I ask this? Can you give me like 3 policies that Donald Trump has done that are good?
Well, so he didn't do anything, but what he had to deal with Congress, right, are the ones that put the legislation through. Now, what did he want? His executive orders?
He had the Republicans controlled the House and the Senate the first 2 years he was
and
in
the Supreme
office.
Court.
So,
I don't know what controlling the Supreme Court has to do with anything, but okay.
but
They get a free
They don't write
pass.
law.
Donald Trump the first 2 years had Republican Congress, so
And Obama had a super majority, and I mean, so what? It's
Well, he's
Well, he's not
so
running.
Joe Biden. But if you look at it, Joe Biden had 2 years of having a Republican Congress or a Democratic Congress, and he was still able to get an immense amount of stuff passed.
okay. So go through what Biden passed, right? He
Cool.
added
The American
almost
Recovery
$5 trillion
Plan.
Chips and Science Act.
No, so did Trump. Hold on, Trump
Sure.
added more. So
Right, but there's a couple of things that kind of went with when Biden came in. You know who Larry Summers in, I'm assuming,
Mhm.
Sorry, who?
right? Larry Summers,
Which
economist, right? He's a
Yes.
staunch Democrat. In April 2020, he came out and talked about putting more 2021, I'm sorry, at the beginning of Biden's term.
Mhm.
You can look it up, right? Larry Summers warned against adding more spending bills.
But then
Right?
why do we have one of the lowest unemployment, or sorry, why do we have one of the lowest inflation rates in the world?
Okay, so let's talk about that because inflation didn't
So
just
hold on.
stop.
So really quick, if that were true, what you're saying, why do we have one of the lowest inflation rates, right? Because then I could just say, well, we have low inflation, and that may have contributed to it, but it certainly helped a lot of Americans, and we still have one of the lowest inflation rates in the world.
Yeah,
In
we're
the
at
world.
140 out of 190.
Okay, so you think that running it up to 9%, and then do you think that it went back down to zero, or do you think that we're still, the rate of inflation doesn't
There's
go
no such
down?
thing as zero.
Right.
Well, it didn't go.
So
it didn't go.
The rate of inflation did not go down, right? It's rising at a slower rate.
It is.
So,
it is rising at a slower rate, but I have seen prices come down at the grocery store. Yes.
okay. So
Personally, I've seen prices come down. Like I said, 3 bags of groceries used to cost about $180. Right now, it's I bought 5 today, and it cost me about $140.
how's the interest rate doing on your credit cards or your mortgage?
Well, that would be Jerome Powell.
How are
I
your-
don't have either one.
How are
That'd be
fuel
Jerome-
costs doing?
That would be Jerome Powell. But if you're saying that you didn't want a recession, if you didn't want the global economy to collapse, that was the option we were given.
No. That's not Jerome Powell, because if the Fed controls what they're trying to do is to reduce inflation by raising interest rates. So you can't just say that Jerome Powell is just sitting in a world that has no correlation to inflation.
No, Jerome Powell was attempting to slow the economy because we were headed towards
Inflation.
a recession, and we were headed towards more inflation. So that's why he increased the inflation, or the interest rate, was to try and slow it. Almost every other country on earth did. So it wasn't just us, but that was Jerome Powell that was appointed by Donald Trump.
Right.
That's
So
that's the
take a
price.
look
If you don't want to collapse the economy, that's the price that you have to pay.
Right. But how did we get to 9% inflation?
Like I said, we had been warned about this for a long time. You yourself just said we were warned. We weren't only warned when Joe Biden did it. We were warned when Donald Trump did it. This is the necessity that we have to do, and had to do at the time, to survive an economic collapse, to survive throughout the pandemic. So this is the price that we're paying for doing that. But you're saying somehow that this is worse than collapsing the economy, than allowing people to starve, to go homeless, to go out on the streets.
I don't know what the hell that was from, but no, that's not what I said. What I was asking
because you're only given 2 options, right? Like, you can bail out the economy, which they did by adding trillions of dollars in spending. You can bail out the economy, or you can allow it to collapse.
Well, the economy had collapsed. What they tried to do was they overheated the economy by giving people money that didn't ask for it. Now you also had supply chain issues. So with supply chain issues,
but again,
money,
we're doing so. Maybe we did something right because we're doing better than most of the rest of the world.
Well, yeah, you can say we did something right, but my question.
So just to put this into perspective, not only did we stop an economic collapse, not only did we help out people, but we also did it while having one of the lowest interest rates through that stretch of any industrialized country.
Well, the interest rates don't have anything to do with borrowing money that we don't have, or that we have to print, when you already have an overheated economy. And so here's the problem that I see with it, right?
Trump printed more.
Trump printed money, and he put $3.5 trillion in COVID spending together, and we did not spend that money before Biden came into office. And when Biden came into office, he added another $5 trillion, which is where Larry Summers came in and said, look, if we do this, we are going to have inflation. So inflation happened.
We knew that this was going to happen. This was already predicted. The argument that they were making didn't have to do with all spending. It had to do with stimulus spending. That was the argument that was made. The argument is that if we inject money into an economy that cannot grow currently because there's too much stuff shut down, that it will cause inflation. Here's the deal. Most economists agree that it did. The degree to which it did, that's still in question. But our economy is doing better than most of the rest of the world. So yeah, we paid that price, right? To prevent people from hurting at the time. We're paying it now.
Yeah, we're hurting now.
Well, I would say we're doing better than most of the industrialized world. So we kind of
but we're not in competition with the rest of the world. We're the United States of friggin' America. We're the number one economy.
Right, but how can you not say that the Biden administration got something right, if we are paying among the lowest interest rates in the world?
Well, okay. So, I mean, that's just a circular logic.
It's not circular. I don't.
It is absolutely circular logic.
Circle.
I'm telling you that we got our cake and ate it too. We got money throughout the pandemic. We got the American Recovery Plan. We got the infrastructure bills. We got the Inflation Reduction Act. We got tons of infrastructure spending in the United States and manufacturer spending. We're doing better than almost all of their countries.
This is great, right? So you're talking about an Inflation Reduction Act, right?
Hey guys, if you are enjoying the show, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And if you want to support the channel, you guys can become a YouTube member on this channel, or preferably join the Patreon in the link tree in the bio. Also in the link tree is my TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, and the OK Hi YouTube, which I post news to on a regular basis. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Yes. What part of that bill dealt with inflation?
It targets energy, which accounts for 33% of all inflation. Now you know.
No,
something.
I'm asking you, what part of that bill dealt with inflation? No, all you did was you just gave me a blanket statement.
No, I didn't. The bill targets energy because energy is responsible for 33% of the inflation that we.
How does it target energy?
It targets energy by giving money to renewables, by upgrading infrastructure, by making it more
green
efficient.
Energy.
The list goes on.
More spending.
There's
Right.
green energy. There's not just it's green energy, but it's also infrastructure to a whole host of things.
Okay, you seem like a smart guy. You seem like a smart guy. What is the definition of inflation, and how is inflation caused?
What does this have to do with what I'm talking about?
The bill itself is called an Inflation Reduction Act. All I'm asking is how in the hell does inflation?
It had to do with energy costs.
It had to do with energy.
Was it extended the renewable energy production tax credit? Okay.
So again, it had nothing to do with inflation. It had to do with
telling
energy.
you saying that did energy costs not go up? Were they not affected by inflation?
Yes, energy can cause the cost of things to go up. It does.
All right. So the percentage of renewable energy that we have in the United States runs what, 25% maybe?
I don't know.
So I'm just throwing out a round number. I think that the amount of renewable energy that the United States uses is 25%. Inflation is throwing too much money over things that you can't purchase. That's what makes inflation, right? If you have too much money and you don't have enough widgets, that's going to drive the costs up. But this doesn't have anything to do with renewable energy.
Yes, it does.
So it's kind of a misnomer, right?
No,
that bill was a misnomer.
No, it does have to do with renewable energy. It gave away $400 billion.
Okay, so you put more money into the system.
No, that's not.
And you don't even have the energy to use.
No, again, and again, you're ignoring what the economists that you're citing were saying, like what they actually were saying. It didn't have to do with spending in the economy. It has to do with predominantly stimulus spending, which is if you give more money to people to spend, they will have more money to spend it, right?
That's what causes inflation. It doesn't reduce it.
Right. At a time
so if you have an Inflation Reduction Act and you're doing the opposite, and again, this isn't going to be answered tonight, right? So let's move on to something else that bothers you.
But the opposite didn't occur. You'd have to make the case that inflation went up with energy costs, and that's not proven.
Do you don't think energy costs have risen since Biden took office? You think gas prices have gone down?
Gas prices have gone down.
No,
gas prices are comparable.
$2.39 in January 2021. Come on.
No, they weren't.
Bullshit.
No, they weren't.
Sick argument.
No, they weren't.
Seriously. Do you know what gas prices were in January of 2021?
I do. Do you know why gas prices went up?
Well, they go up for the same reason anything goes up.
The answer will shock you. OPEC plus 2020. Donald Trump's deal that scaled back overproduction 10 million barrels per day.
Oh, no. Let's go back into that.
Yes.
No. That's
fine. Do you know about that deal?
I absolutely do. Russia and Saudi Arabia got into a war. It was a production war. And so Trump told them to stop producing because we were at a negative dollar value for oil. Correct. And that was going to crush our economy.
Correct.
Right.
I know I'm correct.
Right. He signed a 2-year deal. Do you know why he signed a 2-year deal?
Did who sign a 2-year deal? Trump?
Right. Why he brokered a 2-year deal? OPEC. Would you like to know why there was a 2-year deal brokered and not a short-term deal?
Okay. I mean, I'm sure you have your theory on it. Tell it.
I don't have a theory. It's a fact. Donald Trump kept going back to Saudi Arabia to tell them to start and stop production because of oil prices. For some reason, people forget Donald Trump going into the midterms in 2018, oil was expensive. And so he went and go, okay, well, you cut oil. You cut oil production, or you increase oil production. And he did, right? And it dropped the amount of oil. But in the United States, because we do a type of oil called shale rock oil, right? Which is sour crude.
I'm in Oklahoma. You're not talking to an idiot.
Okay, so the price dumped. As a result, tens of thousands of people that work on oil rigs went home. And so then he went back to them and went, oh, actually increase or decrease production so that prices go back up so that people go back to work. And they did that. And they did both of these based off the context of one had to do with, I can't remember what the other one had to do with, I'm a bit tired, but one of them had to do with the fact that he basically threatened to withhold weapons from them. And they're like, okay, we'll do it. So when he went back this last time, which is the third time he went to Saudi Arabia to try and get a deal done, they were like, we're not really that interested, right? Even though the price is tanking off, we know we need to do something. We're really not that interested in a short-term deal because you continually come back to us. So they asked for a 2-year deal, which ended in 2022 under the Biden administration in April, just after the invasion of Ukraine.
Okay.
Oil is expensive
so-
for a lot of reasons, none of which has to do with Joe Biden. We're producing more oil than any other country in world history.
Well, hold on a second there. This gets kind of funny. So when Biden went and he released the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, are you aware
already have
that
it
he
up
did
for
that
you.
because he was trying to lower gas prices?
I have it up. Yes, and he made a killing.
That's what it
doing
does.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. Actually,
He
if
bought
you
it
go
back
look
for-
at
yes, he bought it back 20% less than what he sold it for.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
I
No, he
just
did
I
not.
just did a video on this today. Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
you can look at your videos, and you can also
I know
look. at
you can
the White
provide
House
the
well, prove me
facts.
wrong.
You can
declined
provide
on
the
purchasing
facts.
the
I can pull
oil.
it up for you. I can
Pull
pull
it
it up
up.
for you, dude.
Pull it up.
Okay. Awesome. Right here, I'll pull it up for you. You're typing really quick. It sounds like you're
Oh yeah, because I'm going to get you the link that you don't believe exists. It's not a problem. They declined to do the strategic purchase because of the price of oil at present time, and it would have been a horrible experience had they dumped what they dumped and then purchased it with oil being at $80-something a barrel when they bought it at
right
30 when Trump
here.
was
This
in
is
and had him fill it up.
Reuters. U.S. buys 3 million barrels of oil for strategic petroleum reserve from June 3rd. The oil, which is for delivery to the SPR in November, is purchased at an average price of $77.69 per barrel.
Okay, so what month is this?
This is this month.
This is June. That
And
was
they've been
15 days
purchasing it
ago.
for the last year. And right here, if you go to the Department of Energy, they release it too. Okay.
Can you turn that off?
Yeah, if you could. October delivery following the
Yeah.
request proposal, RFP, that was announced on May 7, 2024. The 3.3 million barrels were being purchased for an average of 79.38, well below the average of about 95 per barrel that SPR was crude was sold for in 2022. So they sold it in 2020. Sometimes they sold it for higher. Sometimes they sold it for 110, but they sold the oil and they're buying it back at a cheaper rate.
Okay, so this was something that just happened, right? So if you
They've
look
been
back,
buying it back through 2023.
all right. So 2024, right? That's our year. April 3rd, Biden administration abruptly canceled a plan announced last month to purchase 3 million barrels of oil as part of its effort to refill the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. So these guys are bouncing around. It's an election
What
year.
are you talking about? They bought oil back last year.
Okay, I'm sure you have Google, right?
Yes,
So
they bought
just type
oil
in
back in
Biden
October.
White House declined purchase Strategic Petroleum Reserve. It'll give you a link to it, and you can choose your vanilla, whatever you like, whether you read Fox, MSNBC, WAPO, whatever, right? So now, if you have a more updated
Will you
version,
acknowledge, really quick, will you acknowledge the oil that was bought back last year?
well, I'm reading where it wasn't, but look, I'm not that concerned with if they're buying back oil.
Where are you getting that they denied to buy back oil?
I'm going to let you pick your own link, right? So I just threw this in my Google search.
I literally right here is what it says. I just read you that article. Where is it saying that he denied to buy the oil?
Let me give you one that's probably not going to be something you would just mock. I hate to give you a Fox.
That article predates the one that Tommy read you from.
I just gave you one.
Yeah,
they read.
That's what I just said.
Right here,
I'm reading you
predates
one
it.
from
April
you're
3rd,
saying
U.S.
June.
cancels. Yeah, which is this month. They
I'm
just
good.
bought 3 million barrels. U.S. cancels
Right, I'm
latest
good with
oil
that.
reserve refill
What
plan
I
amid high
gave you
prices.
was information, right? You gave me an updated version. I'm cool with that, right?
Okay.
But here's the thing that I'm looking at. We're buying this back at $80 a barrel. We bought it at 30.
I don't
So
know if
that-
you know. I don't. What this is like basic stock trading.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're paying $50 more a barrel to go fill a strategic petroleum
No,
reserve.
we're
because the
leveraging down.
commander-in-chief
Oh
was
my
trying
god,
to
bro!
lower
Oh my
price
god!
of fuel.
Stop! This is basic stock trading. They leverage their position down. I don't know what's wrong with that's basic stock trading. They leverage the position down. They bought it at 30, sold it at 100, leveraged it down to 80. What are you talking about?
Sold it at 100. Maybe you missed the part where he took the strategic petroleum reserve and he put that out on the market. Now you're saying that he sold it at 100, right? That was for gasoline pricing, right? Out of Biden's mouth. We're going to release this so that we can lower the price of gas. His words,
Right.
not mine.
Right, because you're trying to lower the futures market. This is basic
Right.
stock market trading. There was an incredible trade, a 20% increase for 2 years. The position went up, they sold, they wait for it to come back down, they repurchase the position.
And you're saying that oil was at $100 a barrel when they sold it?
They sold it at 95 to 110. I think the average they listed was 95.
Okay.
That's a good trade.
Well, okay. So yeah, it's a good trade. What he did though, and this was the point of my contention, is that he did it to manipulate the market. He did it for his
so did the OPEC deal.
And I guarantee you, right?
You guys were so hold on. You're complaining about the cost of oil. You're complaining about the cost of gas, and when he does something about it, you complain about that too.
No, you actually educated me on something, and I'll take that. Right? That's a win.
That's great.
I love learning.
All right. Well, that works. I won't argue with you then.
Yeah, I mean that's. I'm not a guy that's going to sit here and argue something that's a fallacy. You gave me a fact. I'm down for that. Right?
All right. No, I'm not going to throw it in your face. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I still have plenty other, things that kind of go into the grain of working with manipulation of markets and things like that. I think presidents all have a fine line that they walk, right? I'm guessing you're left side of the equation.
Yeah.
And I'm a right side of the equation, right?
Uh-huh.
So pick a bone of contention, right? I'll argue the facts with you all day long. I learned one, right? 1-0. You kicked my ass. Love it. Because guess what? Now I understand that.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we made some progress.
Don't be flabbergasted. It's okay. Some of us out here that you guys think we're MAGA idiots. I understand that, but we're actually teachable. All right. I taught in college. I'm not your standard, I brush my tooth kind of guy, even though I'm in Oklahoma, born and raised in Southern California, taught college. I like to learn, and I'm not offended by learning.
All right. Well, nice.